America, we got to get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walsh. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us. We're not okay. As a country, as a people, we are just not okay. There is something wrong with us. We're not doing well. And we as a country and we as a people, we got to figure this out. We have to figure out what ails us. What's wrong with us? Why are we not okay? Because this can't continue. Our democracy just cannot function if the people are not okay. I'm going to get in a minute here, I'll get to my new political party, the Democratic Party, which had one job, has one job. And they didn't do that job last night. They caved. Democrats caved. Democrats did not again, too many Democrats did not again understand and meet this moment. I'll get to the Democrats in a minute. But I have got to start here. I have got to start. He's a traitor. I've got to start with what the traitor in the White House did in the wee early hours of the morning. He's a traitor. He's a traitor to this country. He's a traitor to what this country stands for. He's a traitor to what this country is all about. And he demonstrated it again 2-3 in the morning last night. The background, right? The background, this is where we've got to start this Monday. The background's simple. Almost 6 years ago, an American president lost an election. And for the very first time in American history, that American president who lost an election refused to accept the result. Had never happened before. Refused to accept the will of the people. In the long history of this country, that had never, ever happened before. A president loses an election and refuses to accept the result, refuses to concede. Trump did that. Five years ago. And then he committed crimes trying to overthrow that election. Again, I don't give a damn if any of you are ever bothered that I continue to put this in front of us. I think it matters. We're not okay as a nation and we're not okay as a people. And if this doesn't bother us, right, that a president can lose an election and say, no, fuck you, I don't accept it. I refuse to accept it. If America is okay with that, well, then doggone it, we deserve to lose this experiment in representative democracy. But that traitor, he lost an election, refused to accept the result, committed crimes with others, trying to overthrow that election. That all happened 5 years ago in this country. And you know what this country did? This country put that guy back in power. This country put that guy back in the White House. That guy who lost an election, refused to accept the result, refused to concede, gave his middle finger to the American people, gave his middle finger to democracy, literally tried to commit crimes, trying to overthrow the will of the people. The people put him back in power, put him back in the White House. And last night, late last night, that guy, that traitor, pardoned all of his co-conspirators. Thank you, Keith. Keep that up for a moment. Thank you, brother. Donald Trump, in the wee hours of the night last night, pardoned everybody who helped him try to overthrow an American election. Everybody who might have committed crimes trying to help Trump overthrow an American election. Donald Trump pardoned all of them last night. Rudy, John Eastman, Mark Meadows, Kelly Ward, Jenna Ellis, all of them. An endless list. Thank you, Keith. Donald Trump last night pardoned all of his co-conspirators. Shame on us. This matters. This has to matter. Again, if this doesn't matter to us, damn near all of us who live in a representative democracy, well then, respectfully, let's just kiss this representative democracy goodbye. And here's the damnedest thing, right? 99% of the media coverage today, right, will be on the shutdown, the government shutdown, the potential ending of the government shutdown. Oh, the Democrats caved. Oh, the Republicans did this. Oh, Trump's still playing golf, whatever. 99% of all the political media coverage in this country today will be about the government shutdown, when the president of the United States at 2:00 in the morning pardoned everybody who helped him try to overthrow an American election. I'm sorry. This is a much bigger story. And shame on the media who will generally just touch upon this story today. Trump pardoned all of his co-conspirators. Media will just touch it. Shame on the American people, because there will be a collective yawn yesterday, 5 years ago, Joe. Man, ancient history, Joe. Shame on all of us. Here's why it matters. Hey, let me back up. It should have mattered when it happened. In a country with a fully engaged, fully informed people who care about their representative democracy and care about the legitimacy of our elections process in real time, it should have cared to all of us. And Trump should have been gone after November of 2020 when he lost that election and then tried to overthrow it. Trump should have been gone after January 6th, never to be heard from again. January 6th happened because Trump incited it. Trump made it happen. A violent attempt to overthrow an American election by people all led there and sent there by Trump. Donald Trump should have been sent to Siberia after January 6th, never to be heard from again. He was impeached. He should have been convicted. Mitch McConnell, I'm looking at you. Trump, the Senate should have convicted him. He lost an election refused to accept the result and then tried to overthrow that election, and the Senate didn't convict him for that, then the Senate can't convict the president for anything. In real time, what Trump did 5 years ago in a healthy body politic should have mattered to all of us. And Donald Trump should have never been heard from again, much less run for president again, much less get nominated and then get reelected again. In real time, again, a healthy nation where we're okay. We got our priorities straight. We're engaged. We're informed. It matters. You have an election. That's our day, by the way. We have an election. That's the people's day, by the way. That's when we have the power, by the way. And a candidate for president doesn't accept our power, doesn't accept our role on election day, what we did, what we decided on election day in 2020. Get out of here. That's what would have happened in a healthy democracy, in a country that's okay. It didn't happen. But 6 years later, 5 years later, Trump now is trying to erase January 6th. Donald Trump believes if no one is guilty, then nothing happened. Donald Trump is trying to rewrite January 6th. Pardon everybody. Nobody found guilty. Everybody got off. So then nothing happened. It was just a peaceful, patriotic day. Nothing happened to Trump. And now nothing will happen to all of his co-conspirators. He is trying to rewrite the history books on that ugly, un-American day when American citizens violently stormed into the People's House, the United States Capitol, looking to hang Nancy Pelosi, looking to hang Mike Pence, looking to overthrow an American election. And Trump last night, pardon the ball, got them all off. He's consistent, Trump is. He wants to erase that day from the history books. Certainly rewrite it. And this is what he has systematically done since he's been put back in power. What he did at 2:00 in the morning last night, pardoning Rudy and all the rest, just his latest attempt to lie about, get the American people to believe a lie about January 6th. So the American people, right, have another chance, right, to say no, have another chance to give the back of their hand to Donald Trump, to do what they didn't do, what we didn't do 5 years ago. My worry is, my fear is, most Americans are just going to yawn. My worry is that most Americans don't care. And what a shame. What an absolute shame. He pardoned last night people who specifically broke the law trying to take away your vote, trying to change the outcome. specifically broke laws. Now, a lot of these people broke federal laws and state laws. Trump can only pardon them for any potential federal offenses. There are still states that can go after these people and are going after these people. But Trump doesn't think anybody will understand the difference with that. Trump just said they're all innocent. They've all been let go. They've all gotten away with it. Donald Trump got away with it. That's the truth. He got away with it, Trump did. And now his co-conspirators will get away with trying to steal an American election. And I'm sorry, the fact that Trump got away with it and the fact that all of his co-conspirators pardoned last night will get away with it as well. The fact that they're all going to get away with trying to overthrow an American election, trying to steal an American election, committing crimes doing so, the fact that they're all going to get away with it says so much more about us than them. The fact that we didn't kick Donald Trump to Siberia 5 years ago when he did what he did says a lot more about us than him. The fact that the Republican Party, my former party, nominated the guy who tried to overthrow an American election says a lot more about Republican voters than it does Trump. The fact that we put him back in power, and he told us during the campaign last year what he was going to do. He was going to pardon everybody who helped him try to overthrow the election. He told us he was going to do it. But we're not okay, because it doesn't matter to enough of us. Such a shame. The shutdown. So the headline is Democrats caved. Specifically, 8 Senate Democrats caved. 8 Senate Democrats joined every Republican in the Senate last night and this morning to pass a bill ending the government shutdown. The House will take it up probably on Wednesday. Thank you, Keith. They broke ranks with the party leadership and most Democrats to end the shutdown. It'll go to the House on Wednesday. The House is likely to approve it right away, and then Trump will sign it. The deal, really the only way to look at the deal is Democrats were promised a vote on extending the Obamacare subsidies sometime in December. They were promised maybe a vote on doing that. That's it. Democratic voters, thanks, Keith. The voters in my new political party, all those folks who've been out marching in the No Kings rallies, the growing resistance, all the Democratic and grassroots voters and independent voters, everybody who opposes what Trump is and what Trump's doing, all of us voters, us grassroots folks, we all had one demand. We all had just one simple demand of the Democratic Party, of party leadership, of the establishment of the party. We all just had one simple demand. We've always all just had one simple demand these past 10 months. Fight. Fight. One word that's been shouted by millions every hour of every day for the past 10 months to Democratic Party leadership, to the Hakeem Jeffries and the Chuck Schumers and everybody else, every Democratic senator, every Democratic member of the House. Fight! It's all we ask of you, baby. Just fight. And so last night they caved. which I'd have to look it up, is the opposite of fighting. And actually, it's beyond fighting. If I can extend my one demand, this is why what happened last night is once again so devastating and disappointing. The grassroots voters out here, the people that went and voted on Tuesday, just last Tuesday, right? Historic Democratic wins all over the country: Virginia, New Jersey, New York, California, Georgia, Pennsylvania. Everywhere, Democrats won overwhelmingly everywhere because of the voters. And the voters, man, have one demand of the Democratic Party. Democratic Party, as I said last week, had nothing to do with what happened on Tuesday. It was all about the voters, the voters, the voters, the voters, and the voters have begged of the party. Fight and meet this moment. That's it. Meet this moment. You got a guy in the White House who's the very thing our founding fathers feared. Congress has stopped doing their job. Congress now works for the president. Meet this moment. Do you understand this moment? Democratic voters, all of us, have shouted and screamed at party leadership and the party establishment hour after hour, day after day for the past 10 months. Meet this moment. This is unprecedented. Again, the very thing our founders feared is in the White House. Meet this moment, man. You got to fight. This means the old playbook, the old rule book out the window. This is the message that Democratic voters have delivered to their party day after day. This is not your grandma's Republican Party anymore, we've said. This is not your grandpa's Republican Party. My God, there's a Democratic congresswoman in Arizona who won an election 40-some days ago, and she's not even been sworn in yet. Down in Texas, you got 2 Democrats running for a seat, a runoff election, and Abbott, the governor of Texas, hasn't even scheduled the runoff election yet. They're not playing by rules. This meet the moment, Democrats. They're cheating. Meet the moment. They're keeping the House shut so as not to open up the Epstein files. Meet the moment. Voters have been screaming at the Democratic Party and party leadership every single day. And last night, they refused again to meet the moment. And there were more than just 8 Democratic senators. Trust me, a whole bunch of Democratic senators are glad that those 8 Democratic senators joined the Republicans to end the government shutdown. Chuck Schumer voted no. He voted against the bill. And you know he wanted it to pass. There were more. And why, Joe? Why didn't they meet the moment? Why didn't they fight? It's the 8. It's more than the 8. They just, again, they got tired of the shutdown. They're fatigued with the shutdown. They're worried about the shutdown shouted their anger at what the Republicans were doing. This shutdown was on Republicans. Republicans control the entire federal government. The federal government was shut down. Trump and Republicans were getting pounded by the people because of the shutdown. The Democrats had leverage. The Democrats were flying high. That's what's so damn disappointing about this. After the people spoke last week, the Democrats were holding firm and standing strong. They had great leverage. They were out there fighting for a higher cause. I mean, health care coverage for 42-some million Americans, man, fighting for that. Democrats were unified fighting for that, and then it's all over. And then it's all over. And I get it. I've been a House member. You want to believe in the institution. You want to believe in the good old days when Democrats and Republicans reached across the aisle and compromised and worked on shit. And by that day ain't now. That's not Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson's kept the House home. That day ain't now. Donald Trump is a fascist, and my former party is an authoritarian, embracing, fascist, embracing cult. This is not your mama's, your dada's, your grandpa's, your grandma's Republican Party. Meet the moment. You can't. It's utterly bonkers for any Democrat to believe that Republicans will negotiate in good faith. And yet you had some of the senators saying, well, they promised us a vote and just can't meet the moment. They're institutionalists. They're the establishment. And by the way, this isn't a progressive versus a centrist thing. Stop that. That's the old way of thinking about this. I've seen some folks out there yesterday and today saying, oh, there's a bunch of Democratic centrists who voted to end the shutdown, who abandoned the Democratic voters. No. It's not that. It's not progressive versus centrist. It's the institutionalist / establishment versus populist / fighters. And there were plenty of centrist fighters. John Ossoff down in Georgia, who's got a tough reelect next year. There are plenty of centrist fighters who said no and voted no yesterday. 2 final points. What's the point? I was on MSNBC last night and I just said, what was the point of this 40 days? What Democrats voted for last night is basically what was on the table at the beginning of the shutdown, a promise to maybe vote in December on the Obamacare subsidies. That's it. By the way, meet the moment. Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House. You trust him? You believe him? Donald Trump, the guy in the White House, doesn't matter what Congress does. They're deciding what money they're going to spend and what money they're not going to spend. Utterly unconstitutional what the executive branch is doing. Why would you even put something in front of them? Meet the moment. We're talking about a party that even if they lose control of the House next year, you're telling me right now, you feel good right now that Mike Johnson and Republicans will relinquish control? Really? Meet the fucking moment. Angus King, he caucuses with the Democrats. He was one of the 8 who voted for the bill last night to end the government shutdown. Angus King is technically an independent, but he caucuses with the Democrats. Senator King, he was on one of the morning shows this morning, and listen to what he said.
Well, Joe, you have to go back to what the strategy was at the beginning of the shutdown. There were 2 goals, both of which I support. One was standing up to Donald Trump. The other was getting some resolution on the ACA premium tax credit issue. The problem was the shutdown wasn't accomplishing either goals, and there was there was zero likelihood that it was going to. In terms of standing up to Donald Trump, the shutdown actually gave him more power, Exhibit A being what he's done with SNAP and SNAP benefits across the country. Oh, by the way, Joe, you're going to love this. Guess who's getting paid during the shutdown? Not the park rangers or air traffic controllers, the ICE agents. Under special law, under that big, awful bill that they passed last summer, the ICE agents are being paid. Nobody else is. So standing up to Donald Trump didn't work. It actually gave him more power.
Stop, Keith. Stop. Did you hear what he just said? That's it. That's one of the 8 Democrats who voted for the bill last night. Angus King, Senator King, said, I wanted to make sure I heard him right, standing up to Donald Trump wasn't working. Doesn't work. Standing up to Donald Trump wasn't working, said Senator Angus King. I don't know that I've heard a more pitiful, pathetic, defeatist, tone deaf, and just plain wrong thing to say. My God, Senator King. Can't stand up to Trump. Can't do that. My God, Angus King, retire now, man. I beseech thee, retire now. Put somebody in your place who will stand up to Donald Trump. Who needs an opposition party? My God, who needs an opposition party when that's the attitude? Where's the opposition party? Can't stand up to Trump, can't stand up to the bad guy. Boy, so beautifully and succinctly spells out the Democratic Party right now. Afraid to stand up to Trump. That's your job. He's a fascist. That's your job. The House will vote for it on Wednesday. As my friend Adam Kinzinger said, the House is now coming back to Washington. It's been so long since they've been in Washington. House members may not remember where their offices are, but they're coming back on Wednesday to vote, ending the shutdown. The House will pass it right away because again, here's the damnedest thing. Right now, this shutdown is killing Republicans. It's killing Trump. The American people more and more. You know why? Because the American people saw on Friday, Trump takes a shot at the Democrats on the shutdown while Trump is heading to the golf course to go play golf. American people aren't stupid. There's the president of the United States going to play golf all weekend, and he has the balls, right, to take a shot at Democrats. The American people see that. This is why Trump was getting almost all the blame. And Republicans were getting almost all the blame. I got the sun in my face, Keith. There, I'll move like that. There. And Democrats just threw that away, just walked away from all of that. You know, I'll close with this. I've said this before, right? This is the problem. Back in my Republican days, when I was a Republican, and when we were in private, when we would speak in private, us Republicans, we would always say privately that Democrats would never go to the mat to win. We always knew that. We would laugh, we Republicans back in the day. We would say, Democrats, we knew Democrats would never fight to the death to win politically. Again, little inside baseball, dirty little secret. I can tell you from a former Republican, Republicans have always believed Democrats, man, will never bring a knife to a knife fight. They'll never bring a gun to a gunfight. They will never go to the mat to fight to win. We Republicans always believed that. And my new political party proved the Republicans right again last night. Because they caved and they chose not to fight. And it will depress Democratic voters. It will dampen the great high that everybody's on right now. And it may impact the elections next year. It just shows again, right, the difference. Meet the moment. That's all these voters have screamed for days and weeks and months to their party. Just meet this moment. Democrats again last night failed to meet this moment. Thanks for listening, everybody. My Substack, and I'd love it if you checked it out. Everything I do, say, write, think about, sing about, dance about, everything's there. Social Contract with Joe Walsh.substack.com. Check it out. And if you're so moved and so inspired, please consider subscribing. It really helps keep me out there. You want to send me an email about anything. The Social Contract with Joe Walsh@gmail.com. All one word. The Social Contract with Joe Walsh@gmail.com. Let's have a good week. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been